Perfect. Thank you for confirming. Here's the rewritten version of your script, with the same length, tone, pacing, and emotional flow, but smoother phrasing, natural synonyms, and more consistent rhythm. I used to think silence meant peace. Now, it feels like punishment. When Ethan and I married 7 years ago, we were the couple everyone pointed to as proof that love could be calm, not chaotic. He was quiet, thoughtful, and careful in everything he did. I was the talker, the planner, the one who filled the spaces with color and sound. Somewhere in those spaces, I crossed a line I can't uncross. It began small, and old friends. Texts that turned into late-night jokes. Harmless at first. Ethan would fall asleep beside me while I scrolled through laughter that wasn't his. I told myself it was nothing. Everyone flirts a little, right? But I knew the truth the moment I started turning my phone away whenever he stirred. Ethan noticed, of course. He always notices, but he rarely speaks until he's certain of what to say. That's what I once admired most about him. Now, it terrifies me. One night he looked up from the book in his lap and asked softly, "You've been different lately. Is there something you want to tell me?" His voice wasn't angry, just steady, controlled, and that calm made me collapse inside. I laughed it off, said work was stressing me out, that I was just tired. He nodded once and went back to reading. That was the moment, I think, when the silence began. Days passed like ghosts. Dinners eaten in half sentences. Our bed, a wide, empty stretch between us. He didn't confront me again. He didn't need to. His distance said it all. The man who used to text me just to say, "I miss you," stopped texting altogether. The man who once held my hand while driving now kept both hands on the wheel. The friend's messages grew bolder, flirtier. I told him I couldn't keep talking, that my husband was starting to notice. He replied with a smirking emoji that made my stomach turn. That was the moment I realized what I'd become. Someone so starved for attention. She traded her own peace for it. I deleted everything that night, all the chats, the photos, the proof. But erasing pixels doesn't erase guilt. Ethan's silence grew heavier, like air before a storm. I tried to break it with small gestures, cooking his favorite meals, brushing his arm as I passed. He thanked me politely, the way you'd thank a stranger. That politeness hurt worse than anger. The breaking point came 3 weeks later. We were in bed, lights off. I rolled toward him, desperate for closeness, and whispered, "Ethan, can we please talk?" He didn't move, didn't even pretend to be asleep. After a long minute, he said, "Talk about what?" My throat tightened. "About us. I feel like you're miles away." He exhaled softly. "Maybe that's where I need to be for now." Those words cut deeper than any shouting could. The next morning, he was gone before I woke. A note on the kitchen counter read, "I need some space to think. Please don't call." The house felt enormous that day. Every room echoed with what I'd broken. I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at the dent his pillow had left. My phone buzzed twice with messages from friends, but I couldn't look. By evening, I started to understand what silence really does. It forces you to hear your own mistakes on repeat. 3 days later, he still hadn't come home. The plants he usually watered were wilting. His side of the closet stayed untouched. I caught myself whispering apologies into empty air, as if the walls could carry them to wherever he was. Then, on the 4th night, the front door opened. He stood in the doorway, suitcase still in hand. I'd imagined this moment 1,000 times, me running into his arms, him forgiving me, us fixing what I'd broken. but the reality was quieter. He didn't look angry, just emptied. "Hey," I said softly, afraid my voice might shatter what was left between us. "Hey." He closed the door behind him. The sound was final, like a verdict. For a long while, neither of us moved. The only sound was the faint hum of the fridge and the uneven rhythm of our breathing. Finally, I asked, "Did you find the space you needed?" He looked at me, eyes unreadable. "I found clarity." Those two words hit harder than I'd expected. "What does that mean?" "It means I know what hurts more than what you did," he said quietly. "It's knowing how easily you hit it." I opened my mouth, but no words came. I wanted to explain, to tell him it wasn't physical, that it didn't mean anything. But even the excuses tasted bitter. Because it did mean something. It meant I betrayed the quiet safety we built. I was lonely. I finally whispered. "You stopped noticing me, Ethan. You stopped talking, stopped looking at me like you used to." He nodded, not in agreement, but in understanding, the kind that doesn't soften anything. "So you found someone who did." Tears stung my eyes. "It wasn't like that," he sighed. "It's always like that. Someone feels unseen, so they cross a line hoping it'll make them feel alive again. But it never does. It just kills what's left." His calmness shattered me more than any anger could. I wanted him to yell, to throw something, to care loudly. Instead, he just sat at the edge of the bed, looking around as if trying to remember what this place used to mean to him. I sat beside him, close enough to feel his warmth, but not his forgiveness. "Can we fix this?" I asked. He didn't answer. Right away, when he finally spoke, his voice was tired. "I don't know. I keep thinking about that night, the one where you turned your phone away." That's when something shifted inside me. It's strange how one small gesture can feel like an earthquake. I reached for his hand, but he didn't take it. "I'm not leaving tonight," he said, "but I need to be honest. I don't know if I can stay forever." The truth cut deep, but I nodded. "I'll take that. I'll do anything." He looked at me, and for a brief second, I saw the man who once made me laugh until I cried. "Doing anything starts with telling the truth," he said. "No half stories, no pretending it didn't matter. I need to know the real version, even if it hurts." So I told him everything, the messages, the jokes, the flirtation, the moment I realized I'd gone too far. I didn't leave a single detail out. I cried through most of it, not for pity, but because I could finally hear how ugly it sounded. When I finished, Ethan didn't say a word. He just stared at the floor, hands clasped, knuckles white. After what felt like hours, he stood and said, "Thank you for being honest, but I need time." Real time. I wanted to beg him to stay, to ask how long time meant, but I didn't. I'd already taken too much. He packed a few clothes, his toothbrush, and that old, worn-out copy of Asterisk to Kill a Mockingbird. Asterisk, he always reread it when life confused him. Before leaving, he turned to me and said, "You're not a bad person, Lily, but you made choices that broke something sacred. I hope you find out why before it breaks you too." Then he left. That was 6 weeks ago. He still hasn't come back. He sends short messages about bills or the house, but never about us. Every morning, I wake up hoping for a text saying he's ready to talk. Every night, I fall asleep replaying his silence. I used to think love ended in shouting, in slammed doors and angry goodbyes. Now I know it ends quietly with the sound of footsteps fading down the hall while you sit in the dark, realizing you crossed a line you can never uncross. His silence isn't just killing me,